Welcome. Let's learn together. Today, we will be talking about the central and peripheral structures that exist within our nervous system that support our ability to perform basic motor functions. So, what are motor systems? The motor system is a component of the central nervous system. Our ability to perform motor functions and move voluntarily depends heavily on this system functioning properly. In order to perform voluntary and involuntary body movement, our central nervous systems housed within the spinal cord, brainstem, cerebellum, and cerebrum use established pathways to communicate and receive information. During this process, for example, when the body performs an involuntary reflex action, a stimulus will find itself traveling along afferent nerve pathways to anterior horn cells within the spinal cord. These anterior horn cells in the spinal cord are then responsible for responding to the received stimuli via afferent nerve pathways to effector organs. The brainstem is responsible for controlling several important reflexes, such as positional body reflexes, tonic reflexes, salivary, sucking, and swallowing reflexes, and cough reflexes. Next is the cerebellum, whose cortex consists of 3 different layers containing neurons that are comprised of afferent nerve pathways spanning from the brainstem to the thalamus, and finally to the motor cortex. And all of the pathways of the cerebellum pass through the phalangeal, interposed, and dentate nuclei of the cerebellum. Our muscle tone, balance, and supporting motor skills are dependent upon the hemispheres of the cerebellum along with the cerebrum and their ability to act as a catalyst for motor skills via activation of a connection existing between the cerebellum, cerebrum, and brainstem. Research has shown that the parts of the brain responsible for our motor system and motor skills development has a direct impact on our ability to perceive and respond to both internal and external threats that may arise, and that these regions of the brain being functional is critical to our ability to survive without intervention. So here we will focus on learning about the pyramidal and extrapyramidal motor systems, which are responsible for voluntary and automatic movements. So the pyramidal motor system is responsible for our voluntary movements. This motor system consists of our corticospinal and corticobulbar tracts and supports the motor neurons existing within our spinal cord and brainstem. The extrapyramidal motor system is responsible for static or automatic movements. These extrapyramidal tracts begin in the brainstem and then transport motor fibers to the spinal cord and are directly linked to the body's ability to balance, maintain posture, and control musculature. So, why are they described as pyramids? So these tracts are called pyramidal and extrapyramidal tracts because they pass directly through the medullary pyramids existing within the medulla oblongata. The medulla pyramids contain motor fibers, which are responsible for transmitting impulses that cause muscular contractions. So evidence has been provided through research on postmortem fixed tissue to suggest that individuals will often experience motor impairment and a decline in cognitive processing normally as they age. And this is believed to be a multi-system problem that's caused by a deterioration in neuron connectivity and changes that occur in the structural plasticity of the spine. So now let's continue exploring what we know about the neurobiology of the corticospinal tract. So the corticospinal tract is a motor pathway that begins in the cerebral cortex that is made of white matter. So white matter are subcortical tissues that are found deep within the brain. And this white matter contains axons that are enveloped in myelin, which is responsible for the white color of the white matter. So the corticospinal tract is traveled by upper motor neurons that synapse on lower motor neurons. When the upper and lower motor neurons connect with our skeletal muscles, it can cause a muscular contraction. So it's also important to note that the axons of the corticospinal tract are responsible for transmitting information related to movement from the cerebral cortex to the spinal cord. Furthermore, the corticospinal tract has a direct influence on our somatic motor system and all movement that occurs from the neck to the feet, and it is considered to be a major spinal pathway. So research performed with participants who have sustained spinal injuries has provided evidence to suggest that the use of transcranial magnetic stimulation in the primary motor cortex and peripheral nerves can be used to both induce and increase plasticity and to reinforce synaptic transmissions that normally occur in the corticospinal tract. Next, we will be recapping the functions of the motor system that we learned about today. So today, we learned about the motor system and that this system is responsible for sending and receiving information to other parts of the body and brain that regulate motor control, reflexes, and both involuntary and voluntary movement. Without the motor system, we would find ourselves unable to chew, swallow, regulate our saliva, maintain balance and posture, or even find ourselves unable to sit, stand, or walk unassisted. So, poor motor skills can have negative consequences related to perceptual, social, and cognitive development. Research has shown that deficits and connections between motor systems and executive control can have a direct impact on executive functions, cognitive flexibility, and social understanding, and that this can be especially problematic and concerning in cases of children with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder who experience peer rejection and problems with inhibition and self-regulation that occur due to an inability to participate in physical activities and group play. So early intervention is crucial for minimizing the risk of negative effects related to perceptual, cognitive, and social development that these individuals may experience due to poor motor system and motor skill development. Thank you for watching my presentation, and I look forward to hearing all of your feedback. Thank you, and I hope you have a great day.